Hey everyone, Phlashweb at Phlashweb. Today I just wanted to quickly share with you why going cheap is going expensive. An experience I had recently, it wasn't relating to us directly, but it was something I thought was worth sharing. And it was one of my business partners was talking about quotes he had for some content creation for his site. And I said, he basically was saying how expensive it seemed to be to create good, well, he's saying it was expensive to create content for his site, copy content actually it was. And I heard what he was saying, and I thought, my response to him was basically thought, oh, this is definitely worth sharing because we come across this a bit. And what I essentially wanted to say, or what I want to explain, is why going cheap is going expensive. Because the fundamental part about these things that you're creating copy or creating any digital content is that really what you're doing is investing in the digital face to your business, right? So provided the person that's doing your content creation is competent and they listen to what you're saying and they are effective in what they deliver, then the money you spend on that stuff will translate into long-term benefit to your business, whether that's some sort of authority benefit, or whether it's in direct sales, or whether it's in people understanding you're offering something of that nature. It's a direct relationship. Like some people might say it's indirect, but it may be indirect in some sales context, but it will have a direct benefit in the sense that the output of quality is to some degree proportionate to the amount that you would spend if you're getting someone decent. And then it came down to the question of, well, yes, some of these companies are quoting me a lot of money. How do I assess whether they're any good? And I said, well, the simple answer to that is have a look at what they're doing in terms of their own content creation and in terms of their own copy creation, let's say, in this case. And if it's compelling and you think these guys can do a good job, then it's very likely that they will probably be able to do something of a similar level for you, right? And if that equates to, sales or authority building, that you would like to be at the level that they can demonstrate that they do, then it's worthwhile spending the money, depending on obviously what they're charging, of course. But essentially what you're looking at is what they can deliver based on what they do deliver in their own marketing and what they're offering at cost, and what you think that you will generate out of it in the short or long term. Because ultimately it's not just about creating content and spending money on delivering something that humans can read. You're also looking at creating something that Google and search engines will spider and look to understand what is it that this article is talking about and where do I rank it in the broader context of what it is it's talking about. So that means where it would appear in a search result. It's not quite as direct as that, obviously, in search, but essentially the quality of the article is picked up, and now some of these search algorithms are obviously a lot better than they used to be. It's not just a case of throw a load of keywords in there and it works. My point was, if you can spend, you can go cheap, right, and spend, go to Fiverr or some of these cheap blogging sites, and they'll knock up like 6 articles for you for a couple of £100 or something, and you can tarnish your brand and essentially end up with you spent money and you've got like people that have turned away from your business as a result, right? That's expensive, right? That's loss of revenue potentially, and loss of authority, right? If someone's writing some nonsensical article and it's on your website, or it's just some blurb that people think, oh, this is just a splash nonsense page, doesn't really offer any value, then you're degrading your reputation, and also, you know, those things don't really serve the purpose that they're intended, or they were used to be intended for anymore, because the algorithms are so much better in terms of search that it's much more difficult. You have to actually create something of worth and have that on your site, and that makes a much greater impact than just something purely for the purposes of SEO, you know. So that's why I said to him, look, going cheap is going expensive. That, by the way, applies to lots of other areas, and I could talk about this for a long time, but essentially, as long as the business that you're dealing with delivers, in the sense that you see that they deliver on their own frontier for whatever service it is that you're looking to have, then you can be assured, or you can feel more assured, that they're going to be able to deliver the service for you. And that's probably the first rule of thumb. And then the best thing to do is just test them out. Depending on the service, obviously you can't expect immediate results. That's one thing that I think most people sort of have as a confusing or misrepresenting their mind. They think that Google is like some sort of quick hack, right, that you can just get an SEO expert in and they'll knock you up to the first page of Google in 5 minutes. Well, possibly there's mechanisms that you can use to increase your ranking in very short term. However, it's not quite as it's not like you need to just hack the algorithm and you end up at the top. It's a long burn, right, especially with organic content, unless you have some really heavyweight authority people that you can link into to boost your authority. Then it's something that you need to spend a little bit of time on, and the traction takes maybe a month or so, depending on what you're creating, of course. If it's for a paid marketing campaign, then the impact will be much more immediate. If it's organic, obviously, then you have you have time where Google spiders it and users see it and it gets shared and things like that. So there's a little bit of a lead time there. And similarly, for any functional based things, people have to become aware that they exist, right? And you need to get feedback. You need to know whether it's really meeting your users' needs. This is a whole other conversation. But yes, that was the main chunk of what I was trying to say. Going cheap, going expensive. Make sure that the person that you're dealing with delivers on that for their own business. And if they do, then give them a test run, I guess. If it's not really expensive and if it's not high commitment, then it's worth giving them a try.